code back, and all of that code equated to these blocks of signals that I narrowed it down into, right? There was sort of like a preamble and then kind of like a checksum at the end, right? Preamble and a checksum at the end, something to time everything, and then something to make sure that your data was correct. And all of that took a weird form. And it was like all the data was always moving. It was always moving no matter what, and it wasn't moving in logical ways. Turns out, and this is a trick that I learned from reverse engineering signals, we took half of the signal and we XORed it into the other half of the signal. And that gave us logical data. However, the logical data that we got back didn't seem to quite equate to what we expected to see out of the foot pedals. And I think the problem was I wasn't cognizant of the fact that it was only doing 180 degrees. So if we do that, we can put everything back together. My dual joystick setup is two Warthog joysticks, and I have a left-handed Warthog joystick shell that I put into effect. It was made by a guy, just some guy who was very exacting about the specifications. He was able to make a left-handed Warthog joystick. He dropped off of the face of the planet. I don't know what happened to this guy. I talked about him a little bit about like tiny computers, because we like making small form factor PCs, and then he stopped responding to emails like a couple months later. So I don't know what's going on. Would that be considered DRM for pedal? Maybe. I mean, nobody's under the expectation that you're going to have a completely reverse engineerable signal coming out of your pedals, right? Two Warthog sticks is like the dream. The only problem with the two Warthog sticks, and this is something that I've been meaning to address, this is before I even had a 3D printer, is that you don't have a sixth axis. So you have you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where's 6? How do you do 6? So what I wanted to do is on the left-hand stick, have a thumb lever. And I found a nice $75 industrial thumb lever that can do a nice potentiometer up and down. And that'll give me axis number 6, the lift axis. So you have, and the way that I do it is you have right hand, that's pointing your ship in a direction. Left hand slides in the 4 principal, right? The 4 principal axes sliding. Thumbstick up and down, and then foot pedals twist. That's how I do it. I do a spaceship setup. I don't do the banking airplane controls. That's just how I've done it traditionally. So what I'm doing is, what we're working on doing, I guess, is reverse engineering the controls of the Warthog. They use a Malexis magnetometer. Reverse engineering the Warthog signals so that we can add that extra axis, and then use the other joystick via USB, and then use a button panel via USB, and then get the foot pedals directly into the microcontroller so that we can reverse engineer the signal coming back from those, and then put everything together into one big giant flight controller. But since then, I did the 2 horsepower 4-speed back steering wheel project, so we didn't get around to the joystick setup is sitting at the bottom of that shelf over there. So one day we'll get back to that. I don't want to just leave that alone, because everything is like all disassembled, and I think now that I've got more experience in the matter, I could probably get through that project a lot faster. Anyway, big right hand, same size as the left hand. This is the same size. I just did this. This is small. This one's, the left hand's larger. I don't understand. Anyway, taken down by the right-handed lobby. What? All right, back to industrial buttons. So right now what's happening is my computer is, oh, sorry, I didn't catch the other comment. What I'm doing right now is I'm copying a bunch of VODs over to the platter hard drive on this computer. I have a big 6 terabyte platter hard drive that I store all of the old videos in, and I should probably just carte blanche throw them up on YouTube, but YouTube's really scary, so I don't know. Anyway, we're still trying to clean out detritus from our joystick buttons. I just got a little sidetracked by talking about twin joysticks. 2 joysticks at the same time. Anyway, so this is the emergency stop button, and boy howdy, I don't have any idea of how I'm going to be able to get into this thing to clean out the air. First of all, there's no real like air infiltration points that I can really identify. Second of all, I don't know if I'm going to be able to disassemble this thing at all. I mean, if I could pop off this without breaking it, ow, I guess not. I mean, it does kind of look like, well, that's just for center location. It does kind of look like this piece should snap off, and there's some kind of a fastener in here that's been sealed. So I really don't think I'm going to be able to get into these things. I mean, I need the emergency stops anyway, and I just hope the spring doesn't rust. That's my only concern, is that the spring doesn't rust and, you know, render this thing completely useless. I just hope. I have hopes. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I move the rubber seal, but the rubber seal seems to be dual molded on here. I know. Look at this asshole with his hopes. What's up, Makes Mistakes? How you doing? Hope you had a good break. I had a good break. I had a decent time. I had a mental break. Yeah, all right. So I can't get into these. I don't know if I can do anything about them. It's just our hope that the spring doesn't rust. That's all we can do, is just hope that the spring doesn't rust. Now in our application, we don't need all this crap yet. So I'm going to try to put this button back together, and then we're going to take apart, burn the subs. Hate to do that, but I'm going to have to. This will not go in with this piece in here, so I need to move this thing out. Let's hope this thing can reassemble properly, right? Hopefully. Okay, there you go. So yeah, I got to make sure that that seal goes all the way back in. The only thing I can really do is just press this thing into place. Now, is there a specific front piece for this? I don't see it. I love this little lens assembly in here. It's too long. Or sorry, I read the wrong thing. I love this little lens assembly in here. It's too bad, that's what I meant to say, that I can't utilize it. Oh, is there another 3-day weekend coming up? Makes it hard to go back to work. I don't know. I don't stream on Mondays, so I still work on stuff on Mondays, but I don't know if I'll get much of a break. Oh yeah, that totally ruined it. This is why you don't disassemble these things. Everything is so out of place on this that the button no longer works. Ah! Yeah, that rubber seal is what screwed me on this. It all just welded together. I have a feeling the rubber seal is stuck in places it shouldn't be, and that's why this isn't pressing in. There's probably a little bit more disassembly that I had to do before that, but I kind of anticipated that I might be sacrificing one of these buttons unintentionally. Oh God, it's like a safety button. Oh, that's not working out. That is not working out. I think maybe this piece comes off. This is how I end up with a screwdriver in my finger. Nope. Nope, that's welded together. Nope, whole thing broken. Oh well. Oh well, that was a sacrifice anyway. Might have been able to still pull it off, but it looks like it might have just been like sealed around there. Let's investigate, just so we know. Just so we know, this one's the sacrifice. Okay, 2 seals. That's all it would have taken. And then how would I have gotten... I have a feeling that if I actually... Yeah, it's the rubber seal's all crushed inside of it right now, so I can't really do much. Oh, Jesus. Yep, that's how it would have been. So if I'd actually taken this thing off and then gotten a little condom around this part, like that. Now it would have worked. So I could have put it in like that now. Like that now? There you go. See, now that works. And then this piece could go around it. So we messed up the order of operations and paid the price for it. I'm not too keen on fixing that. It doesn't need to be fixed, but just as an example of what can happen. So popping that off, how could we have done that better? I mean, if I had like a very specifically sized hole drilled into something, I could have pushed that through and it would have popped this off. Or I could have just been much more careful about the plastic. It looks like it is indexed to fit a certain way, which is odd for a collar. I don't think it would. Yeah, it's just a press fit. So yeah. Oh well. Make mistakes. Those are your own emotes, aren't they? Yes, it is. That's good to have. It's okay to make mistakes. Do you have one it's not okay? It's unacceptable to make mistakes. Yeah, anyway. So yeah, that one's dead. But now we know how they're made. We got that going on. That's pretty cool. Okay. Buttons and switches and stuff. Done. Let's take a look at burn the subs. I'm not reassembling. Well, you know what? I should probably just reassemble these buttons just so that we have them together. Let's just put them together so we have them together. Now, one of the things, the people who assembled this made a mistake. Not to be confused with makes mistakes. I don't know. This thing seems to not really fit when it's on the side. It doesn't really seem to fit when it's on the side. And, oh, this thing has to have the other switch clipped to it during the... Okay, so we'll do this. Put this back together. No, maybe it does work. Never mind. I don't know why that was so weird. Yeah, that's the E-stop. Oh, it doesn't... It needs to, like, fit into that area, and maybe it doesn't. Here, look at what I'm looking at. I have still, but it's not forthcoming since I have more slots now. What? Yeah, everybody got more slots, right? That's pretty cool. If you guys can get 3 people to watch you for a month, you can affiliate with Twitch. You can affiliate? You can affiliate with Twitch and get you a bunch of emotes just right off the bat that you can use in other people's streams. I think that's awesome. I've seen other streamers be a little gatekeepy about it, which is really stupid. They're like, why don't you use my emotes in my chat? It's so stupid. It's like, dude, like Twitch is all about like having weird little emotes that are from other people. No, it's not self-flagellating. It's not that, dude. It's funny and fun. I love all the creativity that I get from other people's emotes, as long as they're clean. As long as it's not like a celebrity emote that you've stolen somebody's likeness in order to make. Those are kind of scummy. I've seen a couple people with those. Yeah, so that plastic fits around the little actuator there. You see that? And it like doesn't allow this thing to properly seat. I don't like that. What's going on with that? No pep? The hell's that? And he does it. I guess they do. What the fuck is that thing? Jesus Christ. That looks like Maddox doing Banana Docs. Jesus. Banana Docs will, that'll put dreams in your weird dreams into your head. That shit is like a waking nightmare. It's great. I love it. Of course, whenever I go in there, he calls me, "Oh, brother." So maybe I should hate him more. Maybe I should allow hate to enter my heart. I don't have much room for hate in my heart, so maybe I'll dedicate a little bit of it to Banana Docs for saying "Oh, brother" instead of "Oh, bother." Okay, something isn't allowing this piece to actuate properly, and it seems like whoever designed this button panel didn't really care, because when I got this, that had like weird stuff going on, like it was pressed in. So what's the deal with that? What is the deal with that? Maybe it needs to be on the other side, because there's like plastic pieces around this. No, those are over here. Why would they do this? Why would they do it like this? Why don't they just have the little flippers? Because like is that supposed to be like a safety lockout if you mess with the button? Like if the button isn't seated, that'll be open. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. So if the button itself isn't seated, right, this won't allow stuff to happen. Yeah, if the red button gets whacked, that seems to be the case, huh? Yeah, so it has two normally closed circuits, and then the normally open one is closed, and if you involve that with everything else, that means if some asshat comes around and drops a forklift on your emergency stop, and it pops out, and it pops out, then your emergency stop is no longer going to function. That makes sense. It makes sense. It's kind of a weird case. I mean, if your emergency stop got its ass schwacked by some rando in a forklift, like maybe you wouldn't operate the piece of equipment. But I guess we can't trust industrial processes to really industrial setups to honor that. It looks broken, but it still works. Let's just keep going. Because then your emergency stop wouldn't do anything. Although the two normally... No, yeah, you're right. They wouldn't do anything. Makes sense. All right. So that's the other case, the other use case for the e-stop. So that's what the double switch is all about. So we get a double, double, and we get a single. We clip them together. We've got two normally closed circuits and a normally open that gets actuated by the button itself being in place. Forklift knows e-stop off and knocks someone into the machine. There's no e-stop anymore to hit. What? All right. I don't get it. I don't understand what you people are saying. No, it's just basically if your e-stop gets damaged and it's unable to be actuated into the thing in order to stop stuff, then this will actuate. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Those are good e-stops. I like those. It's probably an expensive switch. We get all this stuff back together, and I'll put them aside. Each of these came with a full complement of switches too, which is pretty swanky if you ask me, and you did. So what's the breakdown of the switches that we got here, aside from that? Because the e-stop stuff will go aside. Green is for normally open, red is for normally closed. Holiday colors. Funny, I thought each of these had a normally open and a normally closed. But if we look at the chart, we can see the breakdown is a little bit more uneven. So I got 4 normally opens and a bunch of normally closed, huh? Sorry. Bunch of normally opens and only a couple normally closed. Okay. And how many of these survived? Here are all the survivors. Survivor, survivor, survivor. Wait, one of these is dead. Which one's dead? What? What the? Oh, here's the dead one. Okay. The only thing the dead one has is a little bit of a blemish on its ring. Interesting. I guess I could still put it back together, though. I'd certainly have all the parts. And it does work. Oh, man, I wish I didn't ruin the ring now. We knew one of these would die. We knew one of them would die. It's unfortunate, but it's just what happens. It's what happens when you disassemble stuff. Now, the little markers I'm going to put somewhere else. I don't really have the plastic card to go in front of it. You can print on a printer just like a little label for that and put it on that. I can also just print labels and put them on the plastic. For all it matters, we're going to have to put LEDs on these too because it's going to need to indicate whether or not Burn the Subs is actually functioning. And then we'll probably have to go into the software and ease up the amount of depression that is required to actuate the switch. Is it a mild depression? Maybe it's a lot of depression. I don't know, you do you. All right, let's click on all this stuff together. We'll get one of, that one's got a nice label on it though. I don't know, some of these are like nicely labeled. That's why I think they should go on the outside. But like, they all kind of have labels on them, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. But yeah, they just click into place, and then you get something that actuates all three of these switches at once. That's what goes on behind the scenes in these electrical panel buttons. Pretty cool stuff. I mean, you could do all kinds of weird things. I mean, think about it, like, you still have these two little prongs that are going through this switch, right? So if you wanted more contacts, you can clip one of the switches to another one of the switches, and now you've got two rows that when you push your button, both are getting actuated. Now, keep in mind, you've got all that spring force going into it. So if you clipped like 9 of these things to your button, that's a hell of a button to push. It better be doing a lot of stuff. But yeah, you can just clip these to one another. You just make it all work out for you. It's cool stuff. Assembling them is like putting together Lego. Beep, beep, beep. Yeah, it's actually kind of a standard. I don't know about the design of the clips are different from different manufacturers, but having these two tabs go through and actuate everything on the back of the switch, and then having it clippable from behind and still accepting a wire is also part of the design of these things. You see them across different companies doing industrial switches, and you can buy the modules. They're like $20 each. A good switch is like $100-something. It's ridiculous. But you can buy the modules at various different things. Like I use eBay to buy these things because just like in the situation with these guys, like industrial components, the second they're out of life expectancy, throw them away. And so people resell them on eBay, and they've got plenty of life left in them. They're just not, they've had a previous life. Same thing for the solid state relays that I've used in the brewing setup. They lived a previous life in some industrial setup. I've had some of them die early, and others just last completely, with no issue. So there's a little bit of you're rolling some dice, but you're saving hundreds of dollars on really nice equipment, because manufacturers, they want it out of there. They don't want anything to do with, they don't want to have a failure, because a failure means that more stuff down the line can break. Whereas if we have a failure in a button, it's like, oh no, we have a failure in a button, let's replace it. It's not that big of a deal. But in an industrial setup, you have all your stuff documented and logged, and if something is out of life expectancy, you can just schedule to replace it early, and as long as you keep up with your maintenance, right? Use buttons like that for my pyro box. Yeah, complex, more than it should have been, but it'd switch interlock before it would fire. That's a good idea on a pyro box. Absolutely, man. I once had to repair a pyro box with a glue gun. They had a plastic design. This was for a festival, right? So they had the bonfire of the festival was a very controlled event, and it had a bunch of different things that had to happen in sequence. And so the pyro guy had this advanced controller this year that was wireless, and he could set off different stuff very specifically. This guy was extremely skilled at making something seem absolutely and completely out of control. And I don't know how much of that was the thing actually being completely out of control and him just taking credit for it, and how much it was planned to be somewhat chaotic. I couldn't tell, and I guess that's kind of a good sign of artistry. I guess that's kind of a good sign of his ability as an artist to either bullshit the stuff that wasn't supposed to happen as planned, or plan stuff that seems like it wasn't supposed to happen. But the pyro box, the pyro box had troubles because it was plastic molded in clear plastic, so you could see all the cool electronics and stuff. The battery bin was just one of those typical like battery doors that goes on the back of this thing, and it had all of the tabs, your typical tabs for batteries, right? The problem is, one side of it, the plastic was so weak, it just popped off. I meant to make there we go. Oh, wow, my finger tastes like soil. Okay. So yeah, anyway, it had your typical battery door with no supports on it whatsoever to the outer part of the case. And so the part of the battery door popped off. And so what I did is I built up hot glue in the area as a backstop to use the outside and the, yeah, he's definitely not getting his dirt back. Yeah. No, it wasn't a no summer car event. But yeah, I built up hot glue between the two layers, and I'm like, look, this is not a permanent fix, but it'll hold the batteries in there so they work. You're gonna have to figure out something to do to fix that. But yeah, it ended up working for the festival, but it was a vital piece of the whole thing. Oh man, having the proper supports on battery doors is rough. Cooldown complete. New hype train ready. All right. Yeah, it's my DIY, WHY. Look, hot glue is useful. I don't care what the, I know everybody gets used to, like, especially on the internet, people get used to like poo-pooing stuff, and they poo-poo the use of hot glue in all of these specifically designed to trigger you DIY videos, right? These people make these videos and they do it intentionally, like where they put the pair of pants on the fan in order to direct the fan to two people, right? So, like, yeah, that's designed to trigger you. They'll use hot glue in places where it's completely egregious to use hot glue, right? Because they're only making the craft for like a TikTok video. And a lot of people got very used to poo-pooing their use of hot glue. But here's the thing, hot glue is a nice temporary fastener. It's something that you can use to hold down loose wires and electronics and stuff like that. It will eventually rot away. If it gets exposed to alcohol, it'll pop right off. But it's a clean way to fasten certain things down inside of electronics. It has its uses, believe me. I'm not one person to sit here and poo-poo hot glue universally. There are places you can use it that are more cringy than others, but yeah. I don't know. I really hope people can understand that those DIY videos are specifically designed to trigger people. I hope they understand that. Pyro just subbed for 35 months. Apparently I wasn't subbed anymore. My God. Thank you for subbing for 35 months. Dude. Thank you, Pyro. Appreciate that. What is this? Is this like a mount for like... It almost looks like clips for the switches. On the back of this Eaton enclosure. Oh my God, it is. Wait a minute, what the fuck? Wait, hold on. Hold on a minute here. It's the same Eaton clip system. Well, I can understand why a lot of people would be triggered, because these people use hot glue and cement in ways that it's really not meant to. But you should know that like there's a certain amount of outrage directed just at hot glue, and that's wrong. That shouldn't be. So what is going on here? Why are these clippable to the back of the enclosure? Like, if this is an electrical box, I wonder if Eaton has, like, so you would have a version of this box with none of the punch outs, none of the labeling. It would just be a box, maybe with indicators, that then you could clip like LED indicators or something to something that has, or just basically the wire connection from one side to the other. It wouldn't involve the switches, even though there's a little lump here for the switches. I wonder if Eaton has a family of products that are like these things, you know, like relays and things like that. That's kind of weird. Yeah, you can clip stuff to the back. Huh. I like it. I love little features like that. I don't know if their circuit breakers are the same form factor or what. This is kind of small for like typically in electronics like this, like industrial stuff, you'd have like a DIN rail setup. And the DIN rail setup would then have wire organizing troughs or just be a big bird's nest. But you would have the DIN rail stuff, and the DIN rail stuff goes onto a wider rail than this. This isn't quite DIN sized, I don't think. It might be close though. But yeah, it's interesting that they have kind of like a clip area where you can put this size of stuff. Pyro mad. We got 2 pyros in a row. That is probably the largest pyro streak that we've had. Pyro was mad earlier. Thank you for the 5 months, Pyro Matt. I appreciate that. That's really good on you. Man, we got all these people coming back, giving subs and stuff. You guys are awesome. Yeah, it's good to be back to like electronics stuff. And I will still game on Saturdays, but yeah. I just had a little period of time when I took a break and had 35 viewers. I had so few people watching. It's disheartening. I'm gonna like partially put these back together just so we have like a size guide for them. We'll pile all the stuff into this one. I'll just put this one partially back together just so we have an idea of the size of this, so we can start figuring out the layout of Burn the Subs as we take apart the main control panel. I wasn't mad. Yeah. Tell that to the judge. That conversation no longer exists in this world. I put my foot down. I would like to at some point, and I've been gearing up to it. I might take this current save of My Summer Car and put it aside. I'm still not done yet, though. There's a couple things that I want to do. Pro Amateur Expert. We just need a Y right there. We need Pyro Amateur Expert. Hey, first sub of the year. How's it going? Hey, how you do? Thank you for subbing. I appreciate that. That is good on you. So yeah, what I'd like to do in My Summer Car is I think I would like to actually do the rally with my big force feedback wheel. I want to get the car in just the right shape for it. Maybe even do the drag race too. I've been purchasing everything in the store. The only problem that I'll have is with oh God, why is this? What the fuck? Hold on, something's wrong with that. Something's wrong with that one. Too much torque. The only problem that I'd have in My Summer Car right now is well, I've been trying to buy up everything from the store. Yeah, once I get all the racing parts and stuff and the slicks, I think I'll be ready to try some of that stuff. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that you enjoyed watching My Summer Car. One of the 35 people. I gotta stop harping on those numbers. Anyway. I got psyched out. And also, you know, it's a holiday and stuff, so I understand people might not be looking for streams, but man, nobody wanted the game. Fun what I saw. Yeah. Level 1 hype train. Hey, you guys have triggered several hype trains. Hey. Yeah, it's always a pretty chill affair doing My Summer Car. I enjoyed it. We'll get back to it because I do want to use my hardcore, because I don't know if you guys know this, and I was saying this on Gonad's stream the other night, the last night, I don't know when it was, my memory is all blur. I was saying this on Gonad's streams that I literally built the steering wheel setup for My Summer Car. I was playing My Summer Car and I was like, holy shit, it's hard to control this car, even with some of the suggested changes. I don't know, I'm not as big of a fan of Monbazo. I was talking about the dev was in your chat and everything, which is pretty cool. And I think Monbazo, it needs a little bit of work. And I know Fatanon was defending it, saying that there was a lot more depth that I didn't really get into. And I understand that. But there wasn't as much like building of the car. I know there's like transmission stuff that Fatanon mentioned, but I don't know, the world seems a little bit like a default Unity test, like a Unity game test default. I see a lot of potential in it though, and I there's definitely more room in our hearts for more My Summer Car-esque affairs. I just like My Summer Car throwing you into the Finnish countryside and saying, you have to survive. It's only been out a week? Wait a minute, what? Really? But you and Davies put in like 600 hours in that fucking game. How has it only been out a week? It's been out longer than a week. Okay. I was like incredulous. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. I see a lot of potential in it, and I wanna see where that game's going. But My Summer Car, from what I hear, there's a lot of very good. Also interesting is that this fits together like this. The little tabs in the bottom of this thing. Look at that. That's not. You don't expect that. The little edges of the plastic here and the little edges of the screw holes on the bottom here allow you to stack these on top of each other and have it just kind of hang out. That's cool. Does Monbazo have 2 devs? I would think Monbazu. Listen, I don't mean to take away from Monbazu. All right, I don't mean to take away from it because there is room for more than one My Summer Car in the world. But it does seem like it was like, I'm gonna make my own summer car. Like, you know, he dies like Dinsdale does, like constantly from My Summer Car, like brutal mechanics, and is like, fuck this. Like, I can't even get into town without dying of thirst. Fuck this game. I'm gonna make my own, and it'll have a BMW, and it'll be real drive, and I'll be Canadian, and you have to grow pot, and it just seems like that idea just came directly out of that line of thought. I don't mean to detract from Monbazu, because it is a fun game, and it looks like there's a lot of fun to be had if the dev keeps going with it, which he is. So I'm excited to see where that game is going to go. I kind of like that line of thought. I like My Summer Car, though. I mean, at a certain point, I did get frustrated with Topless Gun, because it seems like the entire existence of Topless Gun is to make his game less playable. He seems to be building stuff into the game that is wholly heartless and unfair, but at the same time, you just kind of got to laugh at it because that's the fun, like that's sort of the philosophy of the game. But it does seem like he kind of goes out of his way to make things less tenable. Pyro gifting 5 subs. That's going to be more names on the board that are going to be nice and teensy tiny. Going to Makad, Dion Starfire, the Alt F4 stream, Balu, Au, and Driz. You guys all got subs thanks to Pyro S's generous 5 gift subs. Thank you, Pyro. I appreciate that. That helps support things around here. So, but yeah, anyway, I can't autocomplete Pyro anymore. What? So yeah, blah. Monbazu, it looks like it's going to be a fun game. I think it needs a little bit of work, but there's a lot of potential there. I'm excited and I'm glad it exists. But I do really like my My Summer Car. Oh, Short Lurker cheered 100 bits. Thank you for the 100 bits, Short Lurker. That got kind of swept under the rug. Did I miss anything else? I'm looking through to see if I missed anything else. Brilliant Shuker, Iconic Bear. Nikaltukas. Ooh, that's a tough one. Thank you for following. Code Rush, Not a Bag of Milky Ways. Metal Murph, thank you for the follow. Trinova Labs with Prime. Why is this not scrolling consistently? It's like, oh, because I'm copying a shitload of files. That's right. The Zod. Oh, oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, we got that. All right, I think I'm caught up. All right. Anywho, yeah, I'm excited to do a little bit of My Summer Carring with the full setup, with the feedback wheel and everything, because I think that'll be interesting to do. In game, I'm not quite set up for it yet. Just here for the hype emotes. Yeah, you guys are just here for the drops, right? all the drops, my Tarkov drops. Binary Ablaze just got a sub thanks to Wayne Johnson. Wayne Johnson, thank you for the 22 gift subs. Okay. We got to take apart this thing right here, and I got to figure out how to get this thing back together. Yeah, the force feedback wheel uses a Mercedes wheel, an actual car wheel, in order to control everything. Oh boy, how much assembly and disassembly do I really want to do with this? I mean, like, we have right here a working example of everything that I need in order to run Bird and Subs. But I kind of want to clean it up because this is getting dusty and grody and gross. I have indicator lights. I have a start and a stop button. I guess let's just disassemble it all, and then we can just deal with the consequences of our actions. There's no getting around it. This is a moment of retrospection. Okay. Yeah. And I'll break the seal over here too, as little as I'd like to do that, because we'll have to get new silicon lines for everything. It needs a refurbish. I mean, look at this thing. Look at this thing. The reservoir is just filled with whatever it is, scaling. Everything is a little bit too dusty. the open radiator was enough to cool everything. We didn't, like, water cooling was not a priority with this thing. It probably could just function with heat sinks. I do want to kind of keep the water cooling because it just kind of makes it a little special, right? Water cooling makes it a little special. And I don't know if you mean like short bus special, if you mean like kind of neat special, but it's kind of somewhere in between. Get these things off of here. So the cool part about the way the buttons work, and I don't know if you guys ever saw that, was that when you have the button pressed down, let's put that back together. When you have the button pushed down, the LED lights up, and it's when you release it that it does stuff. So that's when the LED comes on to say stuff's happening. So what would happen is you push down the button, this would light up, you release the button, that'll light up, and it'll tell you that it's doing something until it stops. If I press it again, that light turns off, or if I press the emergency get out of everything button, this will light up and then turn off when it's done quitting out of everything. Water cooling is cool, needs more RGB. Maybe. I'll have to figure it out. More vintage displays and stuff. But yeah, that's what that was, that little card, and it's just holding up these prototyping boards. So let's just start releasing stuff, and we'll just get to where we get to with this thing. And then on Wednesday, I'll try to formulate a little bit of what's going to go on here. Now remember, we have a 3D printer now. This thing predates the 3D printer. A level 2 hype train emote. Wow, how useful. What is it? What is that? It's an otter with a fan? It's an otter with a shell fan. But it's not very, like, it's not a good otter emote. Don't you have otter emotes, Pyro? Somebody does. Orange high voltage display. You mean Nixie tubes, and I have a lot of Nixie tubes. I'm not sure if I want to use, because I don't have character Nixie tubes. I've got a couple character Nixie tubes. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Three Mirrors is the one with the otters. Oh, it's ADHD generates emotes. That's right. That's right. That's right. Oh, the ones in pinball machines. I don't know those. I do have. Sorry, I'm hiccuping. I had half of a British meat pie kind of thing for lunch, so that's probably not being very kind to me. How is that? That doesn't feel like it's the right size. Yeah, look at how loose that is. Is there a difference between these? Oh, you know what? Is it this one? No. Oh, we might have found the limitations of this set. Might have found a limitation of this set. So these may not be metric and fit these specific fasteners. You can kind of get them tight with it, but that might be the one hang up about this kit. Oh, that's a shame. I mean, it's enough that I can get it tight, but it's still pretty loose. Like, I have this one sitting on the wings here. I think it's this one. Nope, slightly larger. That's the one for RC car wheels, which, by the way, we need to get back to that RC car. I think I've fixed it. I just need to know that it's just as loose. Just as loose. Never mind. Tell us about the kit. Oh, Wexo. Wexo sent me the previous kit. I replaced it with the iFixit kit. So I have the larger iFixit kit. I put it up on my wall control, which is another expensive shop item. That stuff in the background there is wall control, and it's like they're like powder coated wall panels you can put little hangers on. It's how I've kind of tried to keep this place a little bit less than completely disorganized. Anyway, I don't have the affiliate link. That would be down there with the affiliate links. I need to figure that one out, but I don't think a lot of people are going to end up buying stuff on my suggestion. They might, but it's going to be like 4 people. I need to just open up like a merch store and just include shit like this. But yeah, this is the iFixit kit. It's like one of the most common replaceable screwdriver bit types. This is the smaller one, and I've not needed the larger kit. I have the larger kit. It's like $60. Ridiculous. Or maybe this one was 60 and that one was more. Anyway, I don't need that larger kit. The smaller kit has done absolutely everything for me in terms of the amount of electronic stuff that I assemble and disassemble. So I've been pretty happy with it. But this is iFixit, and it's the smaller kit. The only thing that's missing is the extension. and I guess this is supposed to pass for an extension. I kind of prefer the solid extension and a hole in the back of the screwdriver so you can get more torque out of it. But I guess in the instance where you need more torque out of such a small screwdriver, you should be using a larger screwdriver. So I don't know. This is fine. This has done really great for me in the past couple weeks that I've been using it. Maybe a year? Maybe a little bit more than just weeks. So yeah, here we go through all of my old engineering, and this is stuff that we need to bring to the new burn the subs setup. And I guess the new burn the subs setup is going to have all of the external connectors on it, as well as the buttons. Now, most of the external connections are done through this board over here, the actual controller board. The Raspberry Pi has 2 buttons and a bunch of LEDs that it manages, and it does it through these connections. So I think, because this is out of control. This is out of control. The fact that there is a soldered connection there, a socket connection there, a microcontroller sitting down here. This is not acceptable. This is too kludgy for my use, right? Too much of a kludge. So we're gonna undo that, and I might design a circuit board for this. That may be the way that we want to go, because we already know all the connections that need to be made. It would just be a bunch of JST headers that I need to put on stuff. So I'm going to break this down, and then I need to make some documentation about what is required so that I can start to design a PCB that fits as a Raspberry Pi hat. Because we can directly just make that a Raspberry Pi hat, and then it'll just fit right into everything else. And of course, the Raspberry Pi will have to be monitoring temperatures and stuff like that. I think it's KITT for kit. I don't think kit is just KIT. All these connections, like, what are these all doing? Ugh, ow. Dun, 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 dun. I used to love Knight Rider as a kid. Ow. JST connectors are not kind. Knight Industry 2000. Oh, 2000 TT. Talk about a backronym. It hurts. This hurts a lot. Fuck. Ow. God, JST connectors, man. They're evil little bastards, aren't they? See, like, all the electronics are designed to be kind of modular. Kind of designed to be modular. Yeah, I'll have to check. I mean, the software is probably my best bet for figuring out what the pinout is. But, oh my God. There's just a lot. And of course, I basically took everything from the giant flat cable for the Raspberry Pi. But I think in the future, what I'd like to do is create a Pi hat and keep the water line open somehow. There are versions of these blocks that go directly at a 90-degree angle, but they're still going to be blocked. We'll keep it with the Raspberry Pi 3, I think. Montevideo, how you doing? Yeah, I think we're going to keep it with the Raspberry Pi 3 because I have extras of those. Unless I buy a couple, like more than one Raspberry Pi 4. I need to have extras because I've had them go bad on me before. And I don't think that's because of electrical noise. I have a model of a Raspberry Pi 3 in Fusion 360 though, so we can plan everything out using that. The Norn, Julian's Norn project is what made me get that. I didn't end up building the full case for the Norn that I wanted to build. He just got a front and a back panel. Now we do need to get Julian back up on the stream again soon. Oh boy, that's not really cooperating, is it? I think that's a different size. That might be this one. We need to get Julian back once he's learned the Norn a little bit better. So we can show you guys what it's actually capable of. I liked it as a little randomizing sequencer though. It made cool ambient noises. Rock it back and forth very carefully and unplug. Is that one loose? That one's loose. It's only this one that I need to do, and this one is like a weird size that I can't seem to find. All right, let's see. Maybe this one. See, that one doesn't grip. Oh, that did it. Okay, this is the one. Is there any worry that the temperature monitoring thread might glitch or get blocked by another thread catching? Well, cause the whole thing to melt into a useless blob of metal and silicon. The cooling system's barely needed on this. The cooling system is generally only really needed when these two start really getting into it. When these two axes, and especially the x-axis, which is controlling a larger motor. There are only 2 motors on Burn the Subs at the moment, 2 stepper motors, and those are controlled by these two. And so if those overheat, they can skip steps. I don't have it hooked up so that, because there is a system by which if this overheats, it can inform the instructor that something's gone wrong. That we don't have that. So instead, what we have is I've wedged a little temperature monitor into the setup for these two, and if they get too warm, and it's well before it gets to the temperature where it skips steps, we'll start pumping cool water through everything, and that usually does the trick. So if that fails, if the thread gets stuck, which I've never experienced that happen in the Raspberry Pi, unless it was a failure of everything, if the thread gets stuck, then there's not that much of a chance that it's going to overheat. It doesn't have much of a chance to overheat anyway. There's a small, like, yeah, if it fails and we happen to be burning like 100 subs, then yeah, maybe bad stuff will happen. Everything will skip steps and it'll all go wrong. But that hasn't happened yet. And the threads in the Pi are pretty stable. I mean, Python 3 or whatever has done a lot of stuff to kind of stabilize itself over the years. Look at you little bastard. You ran this board for how long? Look at all the detritus in your water lines. Ugh. Put you aside. It's the only thing that differentiates this Raspberry Pi from others is that it's rusted and it's got just a little Raspberry Pi sized water cooler on it. See, I was buying water coolers for the motor drivers because I figured if I could cool them properly, then they would keep running and they wouldn't skip steps. So while you're at it, why not just order another one? And so you'd have 3. But they use these tiny little tubes. Tiny, tiny little tubes. That's a larger size. This is probably too large. It is just too large enough. Although the plastic isn't going to come unseated from the screwdriver, so I've got to take it out most of the way and then back it out. So I don't get it stuck. Yeah, it's not really rust. It's just like oxidation on the copper. Ah, no. Ah, that was a drop. Go get the drop off of the floor. My screwdriver bit that I need. Ugh. All right. How many is that? 897. Jesus. Jeez. All right. So what I'm doing is I am removing all the components from this thing, and I'm going to break it down to the frame rails, because these frame rails in the back here are actually what's required in order for me to mount it to the wall. That's where the holes in the wall are, and I would like to retain those holes in the walls in order to mount the electronics for this thing. So we're going to reinvent all the electronics for Burn the Subs right before we reinvent it again for the 3rd version of the whole setup. But in doing so, we want to keep to what was there before and what I can work with. Petaflops, huh? Oh no, I don't think anything should be floppy in this setup. We're trying to get rid of the flop. All right, loosen these. So this is a laser driver board. What existed 10,000 years ago. Rita Skeeter was using this thing. This thing existed a long time ago. And there's no information about it whatsoever anywhere on the internet. It's just that kind of thing. I have done some special modifications to the actual layout of the circuit and how it operates. That stuff over there. What was that? Looks like a controller of fluid. This is the thing that runs Burn the Subs. These two little guys together right here. These are Burn the Subs. So this is the thing that moves the motors and turns on and off the laser. and this is the brains that gives it instructions. So all of our instructions are in here through Python. This thing is getting onto the Twitch API. It'll then vet out the names and make them into the artistic representation that they are, convert that into G-code, and then send G-code over here via USB, where this microcontroller has all of those millimeter instruction calculations and turns them into pulses that then go to the motors. So one thing we might do is drop down to a lower number of steps per movement of the thing. I'm not totally sure about that yet, but we'll figure it out. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it. Yeah, because I got to figure out how I check on motor settings and stuff like that. I think it's through here, and so I think the Arduino knows all of the motor settings, which is another thing that I need to move over to the main Raspberry Pi, I guess. This thing should contain the motor settings that are uploaded via the microcontroller as of right now, as of this setup. It's just that microcontroller we added in there to do the digital driver setup. I really shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't add another controller. It should all be in the brain here. This thing is just gonna hold the instructions and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, all those settings are backed up and everything, so I've got them if I need them. All right, so let's get this frame busted apart. Tempted to keep the power supply where it is. Move the USB cables. Let's get the water hoses out of here. We're doing a full breakdown. It's just what we need at this point. It's just what's necessary. And I got to come up with all the solutions again for how all this stuff is going together. But hopefully this will be better in the future. We're going to improve on things. Oh, that's a standoff? What the hell? Huh. Didn't know that. I had no idea. All thoughts and knowledge exist on the interweb. Well, depends on who you're talking to. It's interesting, though. People, at the beginning of the internet, the whole thing was, everything you do will be around forever. But that's not true. Things actually degrade on the internet, especially given that they get reposted constantly. And as a result of being constantly reposted, people are dropping the quality of it, either through no action of their own, just through the devices having lower quality, or the copies being a little bit more buggy, or in an attempt to evade things that keep you from reposting, dropping the quality down until it's unserviceable. Ow! Well, that's gonna bleed. Yep, that's a little blood extraction for you. Gotta watch that. The back field of my area here is covered in sharp objects. Man, this thing had just healed too. Now I got another one that I got to deal with. This is probably gonna be right where my mouse. Actually, there's a big callus there. Yeah, maybe I don't have to deal with that. Good. If that doesn't bleed, I'll be happy. I don't want to deal with another scab on my hand. They're annoying. They're annoying. They hurt productivity. All right, this one's kind of tough. I don't know the order of disassembly on this, because if I can, I could get back here and undo these two. See, we kind of like updated where all the wires were going on this. Yeah, no, that's not how you do that. No. All right, so there's two thumb screws here, as if I would be thumb screwing anything on this. So I can release these like this. And then the reservoir will fall away, but the radiator won't. So I think what I can do... Come here, come on. I think what I can do is get in here with hex keys. I think that's this guy. Looking for the hex key right now. Let's see, is this maker beam sized? Too big. Too big. One size down. Shit. It is. All right, cool. So I can release the radiator. See, it was just an open air radiator. It wasn't even in a good configuration. If I wanted it to work really well, I probably should have had the radiator horizontally, and that way there would be a natural convection. No natural convection for me, though. We don't get those luxuries. And the carbon fiber plate wasn't even a full carbon fiber plate. It's got like some weird thing on the back. I don't even know where I got it from. I bet you my brother gave it to me. It's like, here, have this. Actually, it might have been from those tubes that he gave me. I think what he does when Christmas approaches is he just goes into his garage and he just finds some random shit to give to me that's like interesting looking, and then somehow I end up using it in a clever way, and I think it encourages the bad behavior. I think I am complicit in the bad behavior of gifting me random stuff. This is as much my fault as it is his. Because he gave me like carbon fiber like blocks one year. They're just these like tube sections that are made out of carbon fiber. Like, why did you even buy these? What are you doing? Says the guy who had a complement of various types of jams and preserves to give back to him. Yeah, look at that. Look at that electronics setup, man. There's nothing more amateur electronics than a bunch of standoffs attached to some kind of a substrate. It's a beautiful thing. All right, I just want to clean off the rails entirely. Clean the rails. This is going to be our project. We're going to be working on this for a bit here. We're going to be working on getting this thing all together, with all the different hardware that it's required to have in order to control burn the subs, and then we go over to software, where we'll have all the connections known and good and wired up by me. I may rewire burn the subs itself. I may have to run new wires through the whole thing. Now I have, since the last time we built burn the subs, I have a lot of wire. I have a lot of specific wire, and that's good. That actually means that I'm able to run bespoke wires back and forth from all the electronic stuff. I didn't have that luxury last time. We just found whatever we could, which was this speaker wire that's everywhere. So I'll be happy for it to look a little bit more like a professional setup, you know? So there's 5 volts and there's 36 volts. Sorry, oh no, 12 volts and 5 volts? I thought I was running this thing on 36. Stepper motors love high voltage, man. They really do. Like, if you can find, like, maybe I should get like a 5 and a 24 setup. Because the more volts they get, the better they can perform their steps and stuff. Yeah, we're running from a V2, V1. I think this one's a 30 and a 5. I remember we were running quite a bit of power through this thing. Let's see what it is. Nope, 5 and 12. 5 volts, 6 amp, 12 volts, 3 amps. Yeah. If you find it useful as a really bad behavior, not really, no. No, it garners commenting, though. Oops, that's not the right thing. Let's get back here a little bit. How's everybody doing today? We actually got viewers. I'm shocked. All you guys came out of the woodwork again. Guess I'm actually doing work today, so... I'm actually doing work. I think all the people who put me on in the background at work weren't able to do so when I was playing games. So that's probably a little bit of it. And probably why when I raid gaming streamers, we drop off on viewers a little bit, which is fine. It's totally fine. I like raiding game streamers, though. I do, because it gives a little bit more of the breadth of Twitch stuff going on. The square bolt will not leave the part that I drilled through, which is bad design on my part, and I really should probably have come up with a your Twitch partner, you can do what you want. I guess. That probably needs a better mount. Like, if we could 3D print something that would do its job, that would be nice. But, like, the fact that these posts aren't able to get through there is what's really bothering me. I can't fix everything in the same in the same breath. I can't just fix everything, all right? I gotta pick and choose my battles here. Like a file. We're trying to do like a base layout of the whole thing right now, so it's gonna get bogged down a little bit as we get from thing to thing. That's not fitting in there. I think it's the spike file that I want. That guy. This guy's really good at cleaning stuff out. Just like... should find the person who designed it. It was me! I'm the one! I'm the bad guy. I didn't make Maker Beam, but I did drill out the countersunk holes in it. I do feel like I should come up with more 3D printed stuff for this, though. 3D printer is a very powerful tool. Helps a lot for weird stuff like this. That's what we've been doing with the rest of Burn the Subs, is everywhere I've seen an area to improve slightly, I've come up with some kind of a 3D print to help it along. Make things a little bit more designed and organized so that they can perform their tasks without this shit that I'm dealing with right now. Without this frustrating crap. I'm at my wit's end. Ugh. Oh, come on, man. Just a little bit. Just a little bit, please. 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 Ah, son of a bitch. Yeah, how much are goats? What do they cost? Mares might know this as well. Come on! This thing, so what's happening is, when it gets to the part that I drilled out, there's a little bit of extra room, and so the square nut will go to the end and then go, and it'll go to the side just a little bit, and then it doesn't fit out the rest of the rail. They're not much. Goaties! Yeah, what is it getting caught on? Ah, just what I said. It just gets a little disoriented at the end there, and then that causes it to not fly out. I'll be honest, the first person to specifically ask Chester Willard most ask why they're discounted and how I got them. Yeah, listen, we all know about getting stuff third party here. We don't need to know where you got your goats from, man. We just want to know a price. We're not in the business of asking questions. I ain't no snitch. Yeah, there you go. We're in the business of snitching around here. Okay, that is getting stuck on this random, like impression bump right here. It's like somewhere that something just came into contact with the rail, just bent it. I know these are so sensitive to damage. Jeez. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's just roughness up here that I can't get around. Just give me the damn oh god, it's stuck now. Come on. Like, you know? There we go. A little push helped. Alright, let's see if these will cooperate. They will not. Are you fucking kidding? Okay, alright. Gentle push. Nope, gentle push didn't do it. Didn't do it. It got caught on something. Oh my god. $300. $300. Oh god, goat money. Oh my god, everything is fighting me on this now. Longer. Deeper. Doesn't work. There we go. See, those don't have a drill hole through them, and they actually fly off of the thing. Everything else is here to... it's out to get me. You turned them against me. I hate you. Okay, I get this thing all the way up and out. Just getting all the stuff off of the rails so that we can figure it out. All right, maybe I just use the gentle push method and just give it a gentle push. I can see it going to the side, though. The other ones came off. This one didn't. If I could just flatten this out a little bit. Jeez. See, when I mounted Burn the Subs to the wall, I was basically just so happy that everything else worked that I just took the rails and I just went drill and then just shot a fastener through the maker beam. It wasn't an incredibly smart thing to do. I should have taken like the corner cubes, which I did down here actually. I took the corner cubes and I just used those as fasteners. So, I mean, technically I could pop off the end of these things and replace these with corner cubes, and then I'd have a nice open spot. Maybe we should do that. Or maybe I'll do that off air, is just pop these off and replace them with corner cubes. And that way I have the same screw holes and I don't have to deal with this. Whereas the maker beams don't want to pass through there. They just, it's too rough. I've damaged the aluminum to such a degree that there's like a stopper. It is a big problem. If I can just get a couple files off here, maybe I can... I've done this before, too. That's the problem. What part of the goat do you want, though? This is important. It's discounted. It goes into the amount of rates that you get. I mean, you know, I'm not running a charity here. Do you want the front part of the goat or the back? This is important. The side? I can't do that. We don't have those kinds of facilities here. Yeah, discount. You know, you want to go to those expensive goat places? Yeah, it's fine. You can do that, but not here. All right. Goddamn. Just trying to smooth it out a little bit. Smoothen your brains, chat. Smoothing them out. It's still getting fucking caught. What is it getting caught on? Oh my god. Why do you do this to me? Ugh. Probably because the file doesn't exactly clean it out, right? It's not that small. It's not that small. It's not quite doing the job that it's supposed to be doing. I can't get it all the way through there. I can do most of it. Is this the one that comes to a point? One of them comes to a point, and that's probably the one that I want. This one comes to a point. This one might too. Yeah, here's the one that I want. This one, yeah, a little bit. This one's a little bit wedged in the front. It's like a knife blade, right? That's the one that I want. Because that'll get deeper into the maker beam rail, and that'll help clean out all of the shitty machining that was done by my hand drill. My hand drill. My tendril. Damn, it got quiet. It's 4:30. It's like quiet. I mean, my fridge turned off. It's 4:30. Do you know where your refrigerator is? Yeah. Sorta. Remember those commercials? It's something or something o'clock. Do you know where your teenager is? It's like, no, I don't care. It's still getting stuck. I like immediately got stuck. God damn. This is obnoxious. This is like I need to solve this problem now. This is too much. This is ruining a stream. See, fuck, ow. God damn it. Luckily, I do glucose levels from the sides of my fingers, and they've got a bit of a callus to accept a hardened steel file at 5,000 miles an hour. God fucking damn it. Yeah, I gotta fix this stuff. I have to put this on the milling machine and just mill off those ends. See, look, it barely wants to cooperate like that. And then you get to this part, and it's just torture. It's just torture. It's like the first thing it does is get stuck, no matter what. In spite of all the... Then it falls on the floor. And then it just falls on the floor. God fucking damn it. Handle the assistant. Handle the great and frightening. That guy stole all my money. All right, this guy. Loosen it up. It fits right. Oh, it actually did fit right off. Good. Okay, so that's all the hardware off of there. Now I still got the power supply mounted. We still want to use this power supply, I think. This is a 12 volt power supply. It's mounted directly to the rails. All I had to do was put like a little corner cube in here in order to get that end. So it's got a good mount on it. It's a little hideous, right? It's a little hideous. It is kind of an amateurish looking power supply. I mean, these are the great and venerable Meanwell, provider of all amateur project power supplies, because money is a factor. Where money exists, Meanwell does well enough. Yeah, let's get this stuff free now. We'll leave the power supply where it is right now, and I'll think about whether or not I want to actually furnish a different one. So let's get... This stuff might come with some drippy stuff going on. More hardware falling on the floor, obviously. You guys can just periodically come in with drops, and you'll probably be correct. Look at that. See, it's even still just dropping stuff. How am I going to undo you? These have like O-rings on them that make sure that you're able to, when you're putting together like a water cooling setup, that makes sure you're able to like position stuff without loosening the hardware. But now I'm kind of stuck and I can't do anything about this. I need this to unfasten, and it's kind of not. That felt loose and tight when I did it that way, but I think that's just the rubber seal. I always worry about those rubber seals inside of water cooling stuff. Ow. Fucking ow. I need like a soft grip pair of pliers to do this stuff. Because they're knurled, and that knurling is supposed to help you fasten it and unfasten it. But boy howdy, does it get locked into place, especially given the amount of corrosion or scaling, pipe scaling, or, you know, water scale that's getting into it. Oh, look. Oh, it is a screw thing. I didn't know that. It's like, oh my God, look at all that stuff. Look at all that stuff in there. Ugh. There you go. Yeah, the O-ring seals get... Oh, that was into the actual reservoir itself. Hold on, I still haven't dropped it. Caught it. Yeah, what happened was I put tap water in here, and I let it kind of evaporate, which is a bad idea. The only way I'm going to get around this is channel locks. So I put a piece of silicone hose on channel locks. I could use them as soft touch pliers, but let me close the window a little bit while I'm out here. It's a little chilly. And where are my channel locks? They're with my car stuff. So push comes to shove, I guess we're just going to use vice grips on it. Vice grips are going to scratch it pretty awfully. That's all I got, though, in terms of holding on to water cooling stuff. I need like a soft jaw plier. I got a pickle fork. That's not going to do it. Drop times 10. No. All right. Vice grips. Vice grips are for things that you don't want to recover from your work. Never. These are a tool I almost never use. I would not suggest that anybody wants to use, like, boy, oh boy, are they a great way to just ruin everything. These will damage anything, right? Because they can grip so tightly. The only way you're not going to fully and completely and utterly awfully damage something is if you clamp down on it once and leave it, and, you know, are able to manipulate it that way. But even still, the act of clamping down on it hard enough once is usually enough to cause quite a bit of damage to the thing you're trying to loosen. So I don't know. I don't have any real material that I could put in here. I'm just going to widen these up to the point where I'm just going to use them as a grip helper. Vice would probably be a better solution here, but yeah, I guess I'll go for the larger handheld torque. See if I can't hold that in place. There we go. See, that got it. So that's what I mean in terms of like trying to not ruin the finish on something. It is very, very, it's a touch and go situation, but I can get a lot more torque than a pair of pliers just by clamping on this and not letting it fully lock in. So that's what I did. Clamped it, didn't let it lock in, held it tight, gauged whether or not they would both move or if only the one would move. And then as soon as it breaks free, let go, move on, right? But yeah, anything these touch will become machined in some way, shape, or form. So you got to be careful with them. All right, that got that off. Oh my God, all this water cooling stuff needs a bath. It's just full of scaling. So yeah, this came off. It's actually an O-ring fit to the plexiglass. And then this is just caulked. So I'm just gonna convince it to come with me. Maybe unscrewing it. Yep, there we go. Unplug that there. I don't even have that connector anymore. And then the LEDs that are inside of it are just 3 LEDs on a prototyping board that just happen to fit into the actual mounting holes. There it is. This is my genius pump setup. It was a high temperature, like Keurig style pump with a piece of silicone hose over it, jammed into the threads over here, and somehow that produced a seal. So now I get to clean all that up because we're going to use the same reservoir. I think, unless I want to like get a different reservoir, I could look up reservoirs and see if I can find something that looks cool. This one's pretty neat though. I like it. It's like an anodized aluminum like chunk. But maybe a clear or a round one would look a little better with the setup. 900 maybe it'll be something expensive. No promises. All the drops are all improvised. let's get all the fittings off of this stuff because Jesus, this could be in better shape, couldn't it? I don't want to use these. I want to use something with a little less pressure. No, I don't. I'll just wash them off in the sink. As great as an ultrasonic cleaner is, I don't have space for that sort of thing. Now I'll just spend a little time with some hot water and just run it through this whole setup. We can get all of the fittings off of this thing. Screwdriver. Let's get a nice big flat head on this thing. One day I'll have an ultrasonic cleaner, but I seriously need like room for a lot of the stuff that I have. Like I don't even have space for like that soldering oven. I don't have space for I kind of has a little bit of a space underneath the under the table there, which I mean maybe I could make a shelf on that table and then I could have things like that. But the ultrasonic cleaner needs top access. So what I need is a different shop. I need a different shop with a lot more table space. Like 2 or 3 more tables. But that's like if horses grew on trees, you know? Boy, oh boy. Okay. If horses were wishes, we'd all be eating steak. Let's get the pump. Pump. Where did I stash that thing? It was on my desk for a little while. It's a cute little pump. It's adorable. It is adorable. Where'd that little pump go? I know you're in here. Oh God, my brother also gave me some really disgusting... this thing is like, I don't know what you're supposed to do with it, but it's disgusting. Like... Oh, what is it? why is it a thing? It's like an egg sack. Why did he give this to me? Okay, all right, let me find that pump. Let me find the pump over here. Ugh, gross. All right, here it is. There it is. Yeah, I think it's just like weird. Hello, yes, I would like to make a little bouncy ball that works like a frog's egg sack. So this is probably the same exact pump. Probably the same exact pump, but it's not high temperature and it's not clear, which is good because that particular clearness is weird. It has something to do with channel points. No. No. Oh yeah, tryptodecaphobia? Maybe I got the wrong I think that's, I don't know. Yeah, fear of holes in things. Yeah. It does seem pretty catered. Yeah, I don't know what specific word for hole, what language they're using to do that and that. Okay, so we got a pump. We're pumping. Trypophobia. Oh, so there's no deck in there. Or is that the shortened version of it? This is a USB pump. What are you doing with this? Like, why is this a product being sold? It's USB. I don't know. Maybe somebody has like a tiny little fish tank. Anyway, pump, stuff, all the connections for the stuff, reservoir, radiator. That's our setup. These are all the things that we got to put in here. The pump's 5 volts, so we can have a setup on this that's probably going to use a solid state in order to trigger the pump. The water lines coming from that processor should probably be a little taller than this connector. So I'll probably have to find a taller connector. Yeah, that's not going to clear. So I will need a taller connection for whatever board we decide to create, unless I put holes in the board for the water lines, which could also be kind of fun, but no, they don't make as good a connection if you stack them. There are extension ones. See, look at that. That's barely on there. Plus, we don't stack females without consent, you know? No, they just don't make a good connection. But yeah, it would have to be something like two full ones in order to create that. And then I don't think I'm going to be able to create all the connections that I need to in this. I thought I would, but there's just not enough prototyping space in there. So one thing that I guess we're going to do, and now that we're this tall, we can come all the way out to the end here. We can create a Raspberry Pi hat that's going to burn the subs. Triskaidekaphobia. That must be what I'm thinking of, yeah. Because that's where the Deca comes. I was wondering about that, because I'm like, Deca, that shouldn't be in there. Yeah, I think you got it, IFF, yeah. Is friend or foe, _. Yeah. Triska instead of Tripta, and Tripo instead of Tricka. Yeah, I was confused. I was conflating the two. That's what I just said. We're gonna make a PCB. I'm gonna let somebody make it, but I'm going to design it because it's my project. But yeah, so the Raspberry Pi is going to be taking on the responsibilities of initializing the digital motor drivers, checking their temperatures, turning on the pump, doing an indicator light, maybe screen, depending on what we want to do, and turning on and off the whole setup, in addition to all of the other jobs that it's already doing. Now, obviously, the LEDs and stuff we already have programmed in. We're only going to need a limited number of pins to run the rest of the stuff. Raspberry Pi is 3 volts, so we're going to need a solid state, maybe just a MOSFET in order to turn this guy on and off. And then we can command some LEDs with that in order to light up the reservoir if we want, depending on whether or not I stick with this reservoir. I haven't even decided yet on that one. Yeah, we're in pretty good shape. I mean, I've got everything I need here. It's just I need to start creating that circuit board once we get all of the pinouts and stuff lined up. So the question is, what is this all going to look like? Let's clean up a little bit, and then I can start to kind of piece this together and get an idea. Piece it together and get an idea of how this is all gonna fit together in the end. Because I think we can fit everything into that control panel, into the control panel that my brother gave me. That my brother gave me. Brother! All this stuff out of the way, get the hex key up on the hanger. I use Fusion 360, yeah. I don't use KiCad. You guys can talk about KiCad in my Discord, not here, because I'm sick of it. I'm I'm sick of the virtue signaling of other fucking CAD programs, you know? Oh, you're having a problem with Fusion 360? That's cute. I use KiCad. Oh, I got a cough. Hold on. Ugh. All right. Anyway, I should just troll you all and move to Rhino. That's what FK Productions wants me to do. He loves him some Rhino. All right, I'm moving like all the stuff out of the way so we can actually do like a layout here. No, I mean, I tried to use KiCad. I tried to use Rhino too, and it just isn't quite the same as what I'm used to, what I've been taught with. And what I was taught with was SolidWorks. I learned AutoCAD, and I used it a little bit in industry for architectural stuff. And so I kind of know how to operate that software. And that's not to say that I can't work in other CAD programs, because as an engineer, you're required to be a bit of a jack of all trades. Nobody really, you know, engineers aren't, God, it's like if you have a guitarist and you're like, hey man, you're a pretty good guitarist. Can you write a drum solo? That's what engineers are expected to do generally in industry, especially as consultants. So it's like, yeah, we use this CAD program here. Can you use this one? It's like, well, I've got 10,000 hours in this other CAD program, so sure, why not? And then you're expected to perform in that CAD program. So I'll say, when switching from CAD program to CAD program, it is very much like, learning to walk again, I guess. That's a bad comparison because it's a little bit more intuitive than that. It's like everything you do is you're sort of like wading through waist-high water in order to do it. That's how it feels, and then eventually you get over that. But it's tough. It's tough when you're, you know, using a new software suite to get stuff done. Here, let's clean this out too. Basically, what I'm just going to remove the back panel, and that'll just get rid of all the stuff. So all I need to do is bend down these 4 tabs, and then we'll reuse this glass container because it's cool. So this is the project that my brother was working on, and I don't know whose kit it was or what he was trying to accomplish with it, but it is a Nixie kit, and it has different Nixie tubes in it. That's what he was trying to get running. He put a lot of work into this. There's a lot of wiring here. That's kind of sad. I've had this for many years though, so it's time to let it go. This thing directly takes AC in too. There's an easier way to do Nixie tubes, by the way. There's a Russian chip that turns an 8-bit binary an 8-bit binary signal into Nixie tube control signals. How does this glass even go in? You have to pop the side off in order to put the glass in? How did the glass go in? Was this glued with the glass in there? Oh yeah. I mean, some of these look loose, but the others look either shellacked in place or glued. Huh, yeah. The glass is a permanent feature. Yeah, oh yeah, look at that. Glass case. Buttons. It's all there for the taking. Here, let me get these brackets off. These 2 guys right here. Come on. Okay. That's, I mean, it's still scratching my desk whenever I move it around because there's brackets behind this. That can move, the cross brace, but I'll leave it where it is for now. Yeah, so if I were to do the big industrial buttons, they're pretty ugly though in comparison to the rest of the stuff that I'm putting in. So I'm not too sure about using the big industrial button setup. I can look through to see if I have any other enclosures that would do here. Let me see what I've got. I've got kind of a limited supply of enclosures because they're not generally something that I stock anymore. Because they're, I mean, you know, what are enclosures these days? You just get a 3D printer and you can do everything you need to do. So what's the point? The only other enclosure I have, oh dear God, it's disgusting. Ah! Hold on. Oh, ah! Oh my God. This is absolutely fucking covered in dust. Ooh, I don't think I'm gonna use it, but this is like the only other enclosure style thing that I have. And it's just like one of these little angle boxes. Oh my God, that was disgusting. That was traumatizing. You can still see remnants of the incredible amount of dust that was on. There's still a protective film on this, but that would be the only other configuration that I could think of, and it's still pretty hideous. I don't like that, so that's definitely not going to happen. That's really all I've got. Ugh, that was nasty. That was not worth it. So, reservoir. Put it like directly on top. Nah. That looks so stupid. That looks really stupid. Just do it like that. I mean, having this thing vertical is probably better, but you can't get to the tubes that way. It needs to like stick up somewhere. Like that. That looks like a product placement. Ah! Look at a shitty product placement. Well, there you can't even get to the reservoir. Horizontally, like that, like that. If I could somehow make that work, it's one way to do it. Although then your reservoir is at the very bottom. It needs to be at the top. Flip that around. Do that like that. Do this like this, I guess. That's pretty much where we were with the other one. We'd have to drill holes for all the cooling stuff to go into the rest of it. This is a better in this orientation anyway. But put that up there, this over there, put this here, but move it forward. Maybe move it like that, so it's got plenty of room. Do the vertical thing like I wanted, or do the vertical thing like on the side. I mean, that would be a little bit more compact, huh? I could do this. And then I'd have this sort of like side cooling thing, and then that would free up everybody. How about the electronics fitting into this thing? That's the other question that I have. Ugh, everything is so dusty. This is all stuff that I've been meaning to use for a long time. See, look at that fit. That's what I'm talking about right there. That is exactly the right size for that. So if I do that, and then I move this over, well, this is typically like this, then I have plenty of room for other stuff to happen. So I could center these two a little bit more and have a little bit of extra room for cables and stuff, and have these kind of hang out in the middle there. And then we get power through the connector of the hat. The hat can even go behind it, but I guess the hat's probably going to be up front, being the size of the whole thing. I mean, I could do the hat underneath. That's actually probably a better idea. Yeah, this is like a really perfect fit. That's what makes this box so tempting. But if I do that, and then I have the hat on this thing with all the wires and stuff underneath, this thing would be pushed up a little bit. The USB is an internal connection. Getting an external USB connection would be a little bit difficult, but I think the whole front I would have lift-offable so that you could work on it. Although that would mean that the D-sub connector needs to go way down towards the bottom, or the D-sub could not even be connected to the top of the enclosure. I could just have it coming out the side here, and I could have it connect here, and this top would just slip over and just come into contact with it. So the D-sub, well, there's still a lot of wires to connect to there. That's tough to do. D-sub in there would mean everything is internal, and I can't slip this glass away. This needs to be a slip-on cover, because working on it would be ridiculous. I'm not doing pogo pins. No. I could do a square cutout on the side of this thing, and then this will mount to the frame rails. Pogo pins are very fun to use properly, yeah. They really are. D-sub on the side. That connects us to the rest of burn the subs, which I need to rewire. God, that is going to be a pain in the ass. It won't be so bad when we actually get down to the brass tacks of the whole thing, right? Rewiring burn the subs will actually be kind of fun. I'll get 1 gauge of wire. We'll crimp some connectors to things. Soldered connectors, I guess, will be on the rest of it. That's fine though. I mean, if I want to maintain modularity, I should probably do connectors on both ends. We can label stuff. We can use. Yeah, I'm back, Trey Pop. Were you here earlier? Didn't I see you earlier? Am I going crazy? I think I'm going crazy already. You weren't back, or okay. There's somebody else with a T name. A T name and a green name. Nameless, I literally just said that. That's what I was saying. Slip-on cover and just have like bumpers hold on to it. And that way I can just kind of finagle the thing off and put it back on and have everything mounted to the back section there. Doesn't need to be see-through. We should come up with some kind of a platen that's not a piece of wood. That's not a piece of cardboard, basically, that we can mount everything to. The power supply is a little unfortunate. I wish I could hide the power supply better, or have a better looking power supply. But I think maybe beggars and choosers and all that, the next version of Burn the Subs will have a better power supply, you know, mounted in a different way. I could flip this upwards and mount it like that, but then it would just be like a liquid catch if anything ever leaked. And having the reservoir out like this. What other reservoirs do I have? Hold on. I know. Well, actually, it'd be better if version 5 was just one big PCB. That would be awesome. That would work out really well. I mean, that, right? Because then it would be compact. Everything would be in one place, ready to go. I got a bunch of the extra parts from that thing Lone Star sent in. I don't think I can use any of them. Although those buttons are tempting. Maybe I could come up with something for the buttons from that big video console. Too bad I can't use the screen for it. It's too special. Too specialized. Which sucks, because, you know, Lone Star sent me a really nice piece of equipment. That was a really nice piece of equipment. That's like, you know, all gone to hell, but it is a very nice piece of equipment, and I do want to do something with the stuff in there. Okay, let's see. So a lot of my water cooling stuff comes from a computer project that never really happened. I meant to take my gaming computer and water cool it. Since my gaming computer is a very small form factor, I was going to use 6 fans and 2 big radiators like this in order to cool the whole thing. And I still, you know, I just couldn't come up with the design for the whole thing because I also have to incorporate the power supply in that cooling. It's unfortunate that I wasn't able to do it. I mean, you guys saw a couple months ago, we worked on my computer and actually getting it properly and fully cooled. Properly set up in a maker beam enclosure. If I went to like the 3090 or the 3080 or whatever is fucking, you can't, they don't exist. They're just fake. They're fake news. If I went to the larger graphics cards, I might be able to incorporate these two and a reservoir, but I'm just not sure about that anymore. I have so many regrets. I wish I could water cool my PC, my little tiny PC. It would be very cool. I don't know if those radiators would be enough cooling for the whole thing, though. I want a new card, yeah. How long ago was the... Well, the computer project was... I mean, it wasn't 14 days old, so I should probably gather all of those VODs and host them. Probably should do that. Here's our other options for reservoirs. And I could put it back together. I have this one, too. There's no, yeah, the pump is integrated in that one, so I don't think we can use, this is the cooler looking one. Hold on. It is, it's an Ancient Danger Den water block, you got it. You get the prize. Yeah, man, this is the one that would constantly crack. And the reasoning behind the cracking was that I didn't actually have a reservoir on it, on my old AMD computer. Yeah. I know the 3050 was announced, but the 3050 is not going to be better than my 1080 FTWs, so what's the point? But yeah, these cracks in the block were because I didn't have a reservoir. I think this one was Australian made. Danger Den was a pioneer in water cooling. Yeah, they started it out. I talked to one of the guys via email, like, what if I scratched the waterways a little bit? Would that help cooling? It's like scratched away. This is 2003? No, 2002. This is 2002. I think this one was 2003. But yeah, these are the OG guys. One of them was Australian. Australian water cooling company. I still keep these around. I have FK Productions water blocks somewhere. I don't know what happened to that one. He gave me his old water block at some point. And we have the other small reservoir. Had that one like 04. They're so stupid heavy. Yeah. Still have my maze for. Use an aquarium pump. I had two pumps. One of them was an aquarium pump, and the other one was actually it was a cool bath for research equipment. So in research, if you need to have like cold water or something to be cooled actively, there was it's like a big block thing, and it had like a water bath that was wrapped in coolant pipes, and it had its own little compressor and a fan. It was an old piece of equipment. And then it had an immersion pump that would just like drop down in there and have the motor sitting up top. And so I piped that into the rest of my system, and that would provide slightly refrigerated water to the rest of the setup. But the Freon had gone a long time ago, so it wasn't much. It wasn't much. It didn't keep it below ambient. These are all the failed bends that I've made. All right, so we got some of the water cooling stuff. I got plenty of hookups. I got plenty of tie downs too, if I want to use those. Some of those. All right. Just have one of those water coolers in my reservoir, the 5-gallon ones. Ha! CR220 is maze loop. See, we still haven't been able to find the one that, what's her name? Asia Carrera or something like that? Some porn star from way back in the day. She advertised a cooler for a computer that was literally a cube that had holes machined in it. It was a cube, and it had a bunch of holes like Swiss cheesed in it, and you put fans on either side. I remember she like advertised that thing way back in the day. We haven't been able to back up any of my claims at all. At all. So I could just be a liar, I guess. See, the advantage to this one is that it's got a little water cascade on the front, and this thing will spin around. Of course, I have to put the seal back on it because this is the one that I was going to put on the water-cooled streaming PC. This is a lot of material, but it does give us a lot of information when it's running, and it'll be kind of fun to have on Burn the Subs. Or I could try... Are these screws in the same places? They are. I could do a face swap so that we have a clear front. Yeah, I could do a face swap. And so we could put... See, I like all this stuff in here that's supposed to keep like splashes from being problems. But if I want to, what I could do is remove... There's like stuff in here. Ugh. I could remove this front face and make it look clear. And then we could see all the water doing its thing. It's a lot of water for Burn the Subs, but I think it needs to be done. I know it's got all the holes for the RGBs and stuff. Guess I gotta Google her. Not sure who she is. There was a long time ago. She advertised a cooler for a PC. Yeah, I'm too old for this shit. Anyway. Oh, that's a thicker piece though. I think we'll still get a seal. Interesting. So can we can transplant one into the other. This one's a lot heavier, but I think it's a lot more interesting for Burn the Subs. And I don't really want that face. If I've got clear stuff next to it, I might as well have this clear. Found a video of it on G4 Tech TV. If it's on TV, then yeah, maybe we can take a look. Here's another. This one's more the right size for everything, right? This one is more the right size for our setup. This is more like what we should have. This is more like I should have this mounted in some way, shape, or form. Just have it like there. But I think we should go for the big one. All right, let me take a look at this. Take a look at whether or not I need bands of metrics.
I'm Asia
Oh my God.
I'm a player. Can't you see I'm busy?
I don't think this is the one where she actually advertises that cooler. Is it? Blah, blah, adult film star. Eventually she talks about her computers. Yeah. This is just when plexiglass started to be a thing. Oh my God. Look at all those Molex connectors. Yeah, she's a known gamer. She's got several PhDs, etc. I don't know who suckered her into advertising this basically aluminum cube with a bunch of holes drilled in it. And we haven't been able to confirm that at all. There's been literally zero information about it. I know it exists. I know what I saw, but the internet doesn't save literally everything. And that's one of the things that kind of fell by the wayside. She's not showing the hardware anymore. Where's the computer? Oh God, CRTs. Anyway. What kind of an idiot would use a CRT? Wow, how dumb. All right. I mean, if we use the big reservoir, I almost don't even need the radiator on it. Because, like, what's this going to do? Put that there, put that above it. It has to go below it. It has to go below it, but there's no way that I can make that connection unless I have a huge backdrop behind the thing, but it's already taking up all the space that it needs to occupy. Yeah. No, yeah, LAN parties used to be carrying those giant CRTs up several flights of stairs in order to get everything up and running. Let's see if we can do the transplant really quick. And I'll kind of evaluate what we need to do for the rest of this. Because, yeah, this is going to be a good enclosure for everything. We can get some lights on it so that it looks cool. Like when it's running, it can have a certain look to it. I may drop the industrial buttons unless I put them in front of the power supply. Actually, that would be a good spot for them, to be honest. Just right in front of the power supply. Power supply still gets free air. It's just covered over by the start and stop buttons. And then we've got plenty of room up here to do our water cooling. I don't like this look, though. I don't like this look. I know you can dye in plastics, but I'm not going to really do that. We can just keep it the industrial look, I guess. Especially if this is going to be lighter at the bottom. So start, stop, emergency stop. All right, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I think we're coming up with some stuff here. LAN parties, virus centers. I guess nowadays they are. You know, these days you're not really going to be trusting a LAN party. Yeah, tripping the breakers. We never really factored in how much current the computers would be using up in their day-to-day. And so we'd hook everybody up, and you'd have to start learning about what parts of the room are connected to what breakers in the box. Luckily for us, I mean, the one big LAN party, well, we did a couple. Some of them were at actual like vendor centers, and then others were at the friend's house who had direct access to the garage from finished basement. So we'd have the breaker panel was like right there. Conference rooms at a hotel. Yep, that's it. You rent a conference room at a hotel and everything's fine. If you have that many people, which we did back then, we had a lot of people back then. Not these days. Of course, nowadays the friends who throw the LAN parties actually own a house, which is rare enough as it is. There aren't really many games that you can do LAN parties with for more than like 4 people. Like we had 5 people for a little while, but because of consoles and the whole 4 players in one room thing, most games are 4 or nothing. Everything's designed for 4 players. 4 players or nothing. You have 5 people, and you're like, what game do we play? You don't want to just... That made a popping noise. Oh. a little pop. Made a little popping noise. But yeah, it's like, what do you play that can accept 5 people and isn't just some giant team shooter that's really annoying and toxic? Oh, the toxicity. God, getting this thing to seal is going to be a challenge in and of itself. Because, yeah, this seal, I remember the seal is a total bitch to get back up. We had a lot of trouble with this. It's just, like, a little bit too big. I have to like, put it in as I tighten the thing. Let's get the other piece off so that I can manage this. What I want to do is I want a nice, clear front for the thing. I don't know if I'll keep the LC Solution D-Bay Res blah, blah, blah. Because I don't have a blocking plate for this. I don't have anything that can block this. MechWarrior 2? Yeah. Don't threaten me with a good time. I used to outfit the Thor, which was the largest mech to have jump jets, with nothing but the shotgun-y kind of thing. And then I'd hang out on rooftops and wait for my friends to go by in their uber super ultra killer mech that was like super duper. It would be nothing but shotguns and heat sinks. And so I'd drop down on top of them, knock them over, shotgun them in the face, and then overheat and fall asleep. It was my narcoleptic bot. Let's go. IPX. Our first LAN parties having share things via IPX SBS. What the hell? I don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's beyond me. Oh, that's right, the BNC connectors. You had to have the 50 ohm on the end. That's right, that's right, that's right. We had a Macintosh lab in high school that was set up with that. We used to play a game called Bolo, which is just a top-down tank game. Back when they got PCs in that lab, I didn't even know how to go to a website. I didn't know you hit enter after entering the website in. That was like my first brush with something that was so like nobody would explain to you, right? Total Annihilation. We used to, in college, we did the TA mark, which is our fully modded Total Annihilation. It was about 500 megabytes. And we would transfer that over the network to see how fast it was. So we go to LAN parties and we do like, hey, let's do a TA mark on this thing. And so we transfer TA from one person to another. But I'm talking about many years before that. My first real brush with the embarrassment of having somebody just not tell you what something is, right? Like oh, you enter a URL into the bar at the top of the window, and then you hit enter, and then it'll go to that, right? That was never explained to me. It's embarrassing not to know that kind of stuff. So you need to have a good teacher teach you that kind of thing, right? I don't know if the min-max mark is going to work on this thing. Wait, where's the min-max on this? Oh yeah, it's the max is the min. That's interesting. All right. Well, we can remove this front card and just have a clear front if the screws will allow that. I do want a clear front on this if it's going to be for burn the subs. Although that fancy... See, because I don't want to just advertise EK stuff, right? Even though I think this could have an interesting look to it, because it should have water like rippling down the front. And it'll have the thing spinning when it actually operates. But it's too branded. I don't like that. So I'm going to try to put the clear front from this one on it and see what we get. It's just this one is very well attached. So I'm kind of struggling to get the screws off here. Counter-Strike. Yeah, friends used to do a lot of Counter-Strike. They were so good at Counter-Strike that it wasn't a good day until they had been accused of hacking. And then in order to get around all of the hacking, they decided to just start their own server. And they got drunk with power off of being able to ban people for complaining. Yeah, it was 1.4, I think, that they were playing. And there's some deliveries coming in. Every single device that I own is warning me. God, so one of the people in first class, by the way, that during my flight back from Oregon was this business guy opened up his laptop and just to I think he just wanted to check email, right? So the flight takes off. He does all the steps in order to get in-flight Wi-Fi and then Windows Update. He had to do a Windows Update at, what, 30,000 feet, somewhere over middle America. Oh man, I like this reservoir so much more. Look at that seal. It's just a square. There's nothing complicated to it. The problem with this one is that there's no indicators. There's no indicator of what's going on, and I can't seal it. I can't seal it back there. Damn it. Oh, that makes me mad, because this would have been like this something that looks like this would have been pretty cool to put up there, but we're gonna use the more plexiglass one. Oh, there's like gross stuff all over. But I think we can get this to work. All the holes are in the right places, so I think we can. I'm gonna use a guitar pick to seat it. Use a guitar pick to seat the seal, and then we can get this thing rolling, huh? I'll have to do leak down tests on it too. Last thing I want is for Burn the Subs to be a puddle. I guess I could start some of the screws in order to hold this thing in place. Yeah, he had to do an entire Windows update in a flight, during a flight. Poor bastard. Then there was, of course, there were the old people on their tablets who had no functional or reasonable understanding of how to dim their screens so that they weren't constantly blasting us with flashlights. I was literally doing puppetry, shadow puppetry, on the side of the airplane from the light of their screen coming over to me. And I'm that asshole who keeps their window open the whole flight. I paid for the flight. I'm going to see where the plane is. Actually, during the flight, because I was too cheap to get Wi-Fi, I was using my phone with Google Maps and a picture of the country in order to figure out what lakes and like what water bodies we were passing over at the time. I was able to identify some areas over like Tennessee and stuff like that way. Just figuring out what the body of water below us looked like. It was pretty fun. You got to invent your own games when you don't have Wi-Fi. I'm going to try to coax this thing into position doing this. I'll probably have to pull it apart and clean it off, though, if I want to put my best foot forward on this thing, which I'm not really that concerned with. There are stains for where the seal was previously. Oh, jeez. This is going to be more difficult than I thought, huh? I can't even see behind the EK logo to see if the thing is seated. It's not. Oh, and as soon as it's seated, it pushed the other ones out. It's sunglasses here, right? Not just sunglasses, the old frames that go over your previous eyeglass. Ugh. Sorry, I'm hiccuping my ass off there. All right. That's fine. Why doesn't the whole thing just come out? That's cool. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's just do that. I remember why I was so frustrated with this thing. Why is that not going in? What the? Oh, I did those by hand. That's why. I did those by hand and they're a different size. This is what happens when you mix and match all your stuff. What is this? What are you doing, streamer? Oh my god. Ugh. We're working on Burn the Subs, and Burn the Subs is water-cooled simply by the fact that I wanted it to be. I mean, there was no real reason. There's no real reason for me to water cool it, but I wanted to water cool it because it's fun. It's fun to have water cooling your stuff. But this is Burn the Subs, and Burn the Subs is a massive Twitch project. It's a massive Twitch interaction project that I've done on this stream in order to give you guys something to sub to. It's the gimmick that has allowed me to stream on Twitch. That's why it's the only reason I'm popular. Nobody likes me for any other reason at all. But Burn the Subs is a giant Twitch API controlled wood burning board. And what it does, it does that. What it does is it renders the names of accounts onto itself using a Raspberry Pi and a motor controller, a little stepper motor controller. And all of it is built out of garbage that I have lying around. I know this isn't garbage, but close enough. It's built out of stuff that I got lying around. I can kind of like do that and get all of the other parts seated, and then do this last. Should probably do this end last. Let's do this. Here, keep that one. We'll control where it's popping out, and that'll help us. It is too big, but this is what came with the EK water block. We're doing a face swap right now. You know what I can do? I can use paper towels on this, or microfiber. I'll just clean this out real quick. Now you shouldn't let Windex sit on plastic, but if you're wiping it off immediately, it's fine. People talk about like not using Windex on monitors, and man, IT people will get hot under the collar if you tell them that you don't care and that you just use Windex on monitors. Because I do. I just use Windex on monitors. I don't care because I'm wiping it off almost immediately, and I don't put enough on there that it can pool and get behind the screen. You're really only supposed to mist things. Is it a Pi 4? Nah. Pi 3, that's all we need. We don't need a Pi 4. Just clean that off. Make a good seal out of it. Need a little bit more. It's too much. Just trying to get rid of the old stuff that was in there, because I've tested these reservoirs several times, and now Pi Pico and a Pi W would not be powerful enough. The Pi 3B Plus, it's just enough power for us to run Burn the Subs. It does a good job of it too. I didn't really clean the front. The back is clean, I hope, enough. So I can put a couple bolts back here and kind of hold it down a little bit. There's what do you mean new 0W? I've had 0Ws for years now. Listen, the Raspberry Pi for me is kind of like, I don't know, it's too much power looking for a project. It's like, it's too capable versus a microcontroller, because all the things that I would do with that system would just be done as easily with a microcontroller. So why not use something a little more catered to the stuff that you're doing, right? That's been my express opinion on Raspberry Pi hardware for quite a long time. It's been tough to find a project that's extensive enough for me to actually need all the power of a Raspberry Pi. Burn the Subs has to do a lot of stuff in the background. Now, we could have made a microcontroller do that, but doing visual stuff and doing like, you know, setting up a picture of the board in memory is something that's best relegated to a little bit, you know, slightly more powerful hardware, which the Raspberry Pi offers plenty of cycles and droves. I've got something like 5 threads running on this thing, and I could add more if I feel like it. That screw feels a little weird. I could add more threads to do more stuff, which is essentially what we're going to be doing in the near future. But yeah, I find it a little tough. I'm more of an embedded engineer kind of guy myself. I like doing cute little things that just function on their own without needing like larger computational overhead. That's not to say that, you know, anyone else can't find something that requires that kind of computational overhead. I think it's very possible to find, you know, to get a sufficiently complicated project that requires a Raspberry Pi. I just personally don't run into them a lot. It's one of those things. I'm going to try to like coax this thing into position, but man, it's not making my job easy. I don't know how EK got this thing to seat originally. They used some kind of dark magic that I don't know about. Maybe that's where the discount goats come in. Oh, that might have been too far. No, it's not too far enough. I'm still off by a little bit. What can you guys see? You guys can see this all right. Home Assistant. Yeah, so those kinds of things. Home automation is really cool with a Pi. My cohorts have gotten me into Node-RED, which is pretty cool. Node-RED, you just manage the flows of like Java elements, and those will manage smart interactions with things. So that if I switch cameras, I've got a Node-RED instance hooked up. That actually worked really well. That worked really. I actually got the seal on there. I'm pretty excited about that. Cut it, make it shorter. Everybody talks about the kind of stuff. I have a feeling nobody ever tries this stuff that they suggest to me, you know? I know specifically you're just joking, it's fine. But like people suggest stuff to me that like everybody seems to take for granted in the sort of hobby realm as if they've never tried it before. Like, hey, you could just glue that together. Hey, what's up, Mark Sutton? How you doing? Yeah, Node-RED on Pi. I'm using that in order to manage. I gotta seal this before it pops out of the trough again. I need to make sure this thing stays where it is, because I've not been able to reseal. You guys saw that the seal was just thrown into the reservoir because I got so frustrated with it last time I tried to use it. Getting, being able to see through this thing and using a guitar pick in order to get it in there is great. You actually have done that? See, I think I have this sneaking feeling not a lot of people actually do the stuff that they suggest for me to do, because people like to just have like the harebrained, I'm not calling out harebrained, that's just somebody's username, but have these harebrained notions that somebody can just come in here and like do the thing that's suggested on the internet with no repercussions. Like if I were to sit here and cut it, then I'd be out of gasket, and then I'd have to blow a gasket at chat. Yeah, but what I was saying is Node-RED allows me to do a lot of very complicated functions around here, including where if I go to the case camera, my brain works. I can go to the face camera and it'll turn off this light, which is really useful because that light, my hair is like at the length where it's getting in my eyes and I hate it. Anyway, that light is what provides me with that little bit of extra visibility on my desk. And I can have that turn off so that it's not blowing out the face camera. But yeah, cutting and re-gluing a gasket, I'm not too certain that I wouldn't screw that up like horribly. I don't really think I'd get away with that. Yeah, Node-RED is really cool. Like if you can learn how to do it. I've unfortunately, like, people like Tom Thinks are like, hey, I need some way to do X, and I'm like, Node-RED would be perfect for that. But like Tom learning Node-RED, I don't think that would happen. I don't think Tom would very easily learn Node-RED. See, this doesn't have the little 45-degree cuts in the sides, and it's not like soft there, but yeah, no, I would screw it up pretty badly. This isn't a bad look. This isn't a bad look. We got our little spinny thingy. It'll do little spinny thingies when the pump's running, so we don't have to monitor the pump as much. Ordering custom-sized O-rings and waiting isn't one of my... Yeah, exactly. Can we set up a test? That way we can have something interesting at the end of the stream here. I think we should be able to set up a test. God, all this stuff is garbage now, huh? Well, let's take some of the blockers then and put them into this. Actually, wait, that's input and output, so... Where is our stuff coming back? Yeah, we come back in there. We can just set this up with a loop. With a loop. Got all these spare wires from the thing we took apart today. I gotta be careful not to scratch the front of this thing. We're not gonna loop it in with the water, with the what do you call it? With the radiator or anything. I'm just gonna do reservoir pump, and we'll use this tiny little pump. My only issue is how do I get adapting from? I think I have parts for all this. Hold on, I gotta find the bin that contains all of the old stuff from. Actually, wait. Oh, here we go. Here's a piece that we could just cannibalize. Perfect. So that'll just fit that, and then put it back in. Oh. All right. Where's the other bin of stuff? Hold on. There we go. These are slightly smaller. Node-RED is fine until you make it hard mode by installing a Docker on a fake Synology NAS. Use an outdated node that crashes the Docker until you speed run and figure out how to manually delete it. Jesus Christ. Meanwhile, you've got klaxons going off and like the red light spinning around. I think we need 2 of these. Oh wait, this one was like super big. What was I using? That's still, yeah, it's still too large. Okay. So we need 2 of the brass ones. Print, TPU, and pray. I do have something that I would like to use PETG for. I mean, we should probably go all the way to the outside, huh? It's weird how there's like 2 chambers here, though. I don't know about that. Like, what is that for? I don't understand that. Why would I have these 2 chambers? I mean, this is going to cascade down, fill up here, and then back. I don't know. I think people are ordering food. I think that's what dinner is tonight. I think dinner is delivery. Okay, so we don't need the zip tie, and I don't need this much tube, so I can take a pair of scissors. Just give that a little cut. Cut right there. Put that on there. Let me get this. Put this on here. We don't really need to put zip ties on this because this isn't going to exist for very long. Jesus Christ, this thing is constantly detecting motion. Ugh, hold on. Yeah, that was a drop. Yeah. I'm not above admitting it. Might get a little water somewhere on the desk here, but I think this will be okay. I want to see what this pump is like to see whether or not I want to get a different one. This thing doesn't even need to be water cooled. Not even supposed to be here today. This tube fitting is larger than that though, and I need to adapt this one to that one. I have a feeling this will just fit on. It won't seal though. Oh my God, I'm gonna throw my phone in the garbage. If I get another fucking motion alert. It's like, dear God, there's somebody at the front door. Make it stop. God. All right, what other tube sizes do I have going on in here? I got all kinds of garbage. Let me see. So yeah, I've got all kinds of different like adapters and stuff. I got these from like, they're like medical tubes. But I don't think this is going to be the right size. Yeah, that's definitely not happening. I need the in-between size, and I don't think I have it. So if I really wanted to seal that, I guess I could put a zip tie on it, but I don't think it's actually going to create a seal. Do 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 do. I might get away with this. All right, hold on. I might get away with it with the express application of a zip tie in just the right spot. I think that might make up for the seal. I don't know though. It's a little dodgy. Probably going to spill water all over the desk. I just want to see the reservoir in action and see if this pump will actually actuate any of the stuff in it. But we'll give it the benefit of the doubt. And hopefully this thing creates enough of a seal that we don't have stuff raining all over the place. I need to get this out. And then I'll fill a pitcher with water. That's going to take me a minute. You guys will have to bear with me. Well, I run to the bathroom. That's not working either. Damn it, what size is this thing? Did I get like a specific tool to undo these? I think I did. Hold on. There's like a plastic tool that I think came with some of the stuff. No. Where did that go? Oh. No, that's not quite the adapter that I needed. There's like beeping elsewhere in the house. Like, I don't know what the hell is going on. Where's that tool? I really want to get this reservoir out of here. Sir Fogelsang, what's up? How you doing, man? 15 months saying, what's up, nerds? How you doing? Yeah, there was some kind of a tool that came with this to undo that, so I didn't have to get an industrial-sized hex key to undo the reservoir. But it looks like I'm using the industrial-sized hex key to do it. Which is, man, that's a great way to over-torque and snap your plexiglass, huh? So this thing's on here pretty tight. I'm gonna get a pitcher of water. Fill it with seltzer. Now, hold on. Let me go get water. I'll be right back. Mute. I swear there's no water pressure down here. It takes me so long to fill stuff up. Metronomic Live for the background music, by the way. Thank you, Metronomic. Ooh, Tom's on. He's doing Ort with Borb. We'll rate him in a little bit. Okay, I don't have volume. Okay, there it is. The little thing wasn't pulling up volume. It was just saying mute. Let's do this test though before we adjourn. Before I raid you guys into Tom, we're gonna test this thing out, and it's probably going to let water loose on my entire desk setup here. There's a paper towel on the floor. What else do I have to sop up whatever's gonna happen here? Nothing. So it's all in. We're all or nothing. And I got a USB plug over here that I can plug into, I don't know, a power supply somewhere. I guess the USB HUD or hub over in the corner there. Now, this funnel is not really going to work out for water cooling. What I have for filling water cooling is this little guy right here. This is my water cooling syringe. This little guy right here. I'm hoping I'll get good use out of it. This is a former diabetic syringe that I used to use to give myself insulin. It's designed for just to leave us the smallest of pricks. Now this is like one of those meat infusing syringes. I wish it had a little window on it, but I like the giant water cooling syringe. So I filled a pitcher with water. I guess you guys can't see that. I'm just gonna fill this thing up and not shatter it. I should probably do this a little bit of a lower angle so you guys can see what's going on here. You can barely see the pump with everything else, so we'll just do this. And then focus. The only thing I have is this glass pitcher, which is not really a great idea. when used in this context, especially with a giant metal syringe. I do have plastic syringes, but I thought this would be funnier. This is also old Christmas gifts. This also comes from old Christmas gifts where my brother bought like a meat infuser for my parents, and then I'm at my folks' place and they're like, we've never done anything with this. Do you want it? And I'm like, yeah. I'll use it for water cooling. So far, no drips, but there's no pressure on the system. We only have one speed with this thing, so we only have the speed of whatever this USB thing can do. And technically the min and max are much lower than this, so I can lower the water level. We don't exactly have a radiator that's going to soak up a bunch of this water. Let me move the glass pitcher before I frickin' break it. That thing's a liability down here. So far, everything's good. This is what I'd expect to leak right here. So let's see what happens when we flip this thing on. I'm hoping we get a good little display of this thing running, but it might not even be enough water flow for us to see that. All right, I'm looking for an open USB slot here. I think that's one. This is a powered USB hub, so it's got plenty of current to give up. Nope. All right, here's one. I hate how this thing is USB. There it goes. That is adorable. That is going to look really, really cool. So if I lower the water level to about where it's supposed to be. Oh, that's adorable. I love that. I love that. I really like this. So it's supposed to, oh wait, that is in the, okay, so that's where it's supposed to be. So we could lower it a little bit. Oh, I love this. This is going to be cool. We definitely need to use this for Burn the Subs. Here, let me lower the water level a little bit. Rules are meant to be broken. Ow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a hot look. I want to keep watching it spin. Yeah. Try and give you guys a good view. I need more cascading going on. Any drips on the... No drips. Everything is sealed pretty well. I mean, it's not like we're asking this thing to do a whole lot of RPM or anything, right? We're not putting a whole lot of pressure into this system. Our air is going to be pretty oxygenated, though. Going to oxygenate our womb space. I mean, what? I mean, if we get less... That was a Red Letter Media thing. If I lower this even more, it's going to cascade into this chamber and then fall into this chamber. I want to see that happen. I'm going to go empty this. And then fill it up again. God, this syringe is so weird. My giant, scary syringe. Oh, now it's getting air. It kind of does that. It's not quite getting to the end here. That's a little crazy though. What's this doing? It's eventually going to be cooling my my burning setup, my giant sub-burning setup. That is leaking up here, I think. Well, that's just water getting in from above. It might be leaking a bit up here, which is odd. I need to tighten the fasteners a little bit. I mean, I like it in the more dynamic setup, but this is fine too. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this. As an indicator that things are functioning, it's doing pretty well. No leaks back here. I think maybe a zip tie is good on that size tube, which is good because I didn't really want to have to furnish other sizes of tube. And then I guess eventually the pressure from the water pushes it all the way up to here. Cool. All right. Well, that's going to look really good. I mean, obviously, I'm going to want to do something similar on Burn the Subs 3. We'll definitely water cool the laser on BTS 3. BTS 3 will get laser water cooling and a few other things, but I think this should be on for most of the time. Then eventually I'll turn it off. Food color to add to the water. I don't want that. I don't want extra stuff. I'm probably gonna have to end up getting a couple jugs of distilled water to have around here, because I don't want the scaling that we got previously from the stuff I have to wash out. I gotta wash out this reservoir. Yeah, get those little magnet fishing fish on here. Well, anyway, it's about quitting time for me, but yeah, this is cool. So we've got an idea of what we're going to be doing with the next Burn the Subs. This reservoir fits on top of the glass case very nicely. Just a little rubber duck to like wander around in there. No, you guys want too much from me. Isn't this enough? Isn't that illegal? Isn't that immoral? Neil Breen. All right. Just put a copper part in there. The fittings are brass. And the cooling things, I believe this is actually copper, so we do have a bit of a half cell thing to worry about. I think it'll be okay though. I mean, this is such low key water cooling, and the actual things on the Raspberry Pi and stuff are copper. I wonder if I need to buy the anodized ones, the nickel ones. I don't want to have to go and buy new stuff for this whole thing. I mean, those are copper. This is copper. This is all plastic. The fittings are brass, and that's it. I think that's fine. I think brass and copper get along. I don't think they half sell. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know the real sticklers are going to come at me like, you mixed stainless steel with copper? Oh my God, your computer's going to stop functioning. Like, okay. But... I like the little waterfall in this thing. That's cool. Even if you do, it'll take a long ass time before it's an issue. Yeah, because you're not exactly running a strict half cell reaction inside of the thing, but it does affect it eventually. I mean, geez, I would say, hey, water scaling isn't a big deal, and then I fill this fucking thing with tap water and let it evaporate to lower the water level. Like, that's how dumb I am, and that has consequences. So. I'm gonna have to sit in the bathtub or something and just like clean out all the stuff that we've used previously and burn the subs. But I think for the future we're gonna use this reservoir because I like this. This is an EK reservoir. I think it's an older one, and we mixed it with the front panel from a newer one, which I would have appreciated this one more if I got the pump-free version. But this is just whatever I have on me from previously failed attempts at water cooling my gear. I wish my gaming computer was water cooled. I really do, chat. I wish I could water cool my gaming PC. Even as it is right now, it would be cool. Subspace therapy. No, this is tap water right now. This is just a test. This is tap water. Let's do it. Nah. You can't run this vertically, right? Nah. It would be dumb if you did. It's cooler to have that cascade. No, my gaming computer is not the 4U rack mount case is going to get its own water cooling. That is the streaming computer. That's the computer that's taking up all the desk space right now. And putting that into the rack will make it much more compact. It'll give me more desk space. And I'll have a much better presentation of that corner of the room with my file server and the streaming PC and stuff like that. The gaming PC is the one that I did in MakerBeam. And I've tweeted about it a long time ago. There are pictures of it in my Twitter. If you go to my profile and scroll back far enough, I'm not that frequent of a tweeter. So, and maybe in the stream projects, if you try to search, I don't know what the keywords would be. That's a tough one. It is in the Discord though. But anyway, you guys can catch me in the Discord in the off time. I'm going to raid Tom Thinks. We're gonna close up things by raiding Tom Thinks. And then on Thursday, we're back to this. We're gonna figure out how to start putting stuff together and getting it in place so that we can design a circuit board to take all the signals out of Burn the Subs into the rest of the board. We'll figure it out. Yeah, Spider-Man quotes. I get it. All right, let's turn this thing off. Well, let's just raid into Tom Thinks. Yeah, you guys have a good night. I'm going to be... Hold on, wait a minute. I will be on Discord. Here's the end. Oh God, all caps. Here's the end card that contains all of the information. If you guys want to follow my whatever, or like, comment, subscribe, Twitter me on follow and Discord me sometimes. I'll be there during the interim. Next stream starts in approximately 4 days. That's not 4 days. That's not right. I'm going to be back on Thursday. I don't know what this 4 days is about. I'll get to the bottom of this. I'll fix that for next time. Don't worry about that stuff. But I'll be back. I'll be back on day after tomorrow on Thursday, and we'll work on this a little further. I'll probably have things a little bit more ready to go. So anyway, let's do the raid now. Raid Tom Thinks. Boop. He's painting with Borb. So we can check out Tom Thinks painting with Borb. If you guys haven't seen Tom Thinks before, it's a treat. He does live cartoon stuff on Twitch. All right, I'll see you guys on Thursday. And